from launch to growth. Hope you had a restful evening and are ready for another day of insightful discussions and valuable learning.
Absolutely, Shravan. It was an incredible journey exploring the topic, so let's continue discussion and hope everybody enjoys it. Our first speaker is Mr. Yassine Hamedani, who brings a wealth of experience and expertise to the table. Born and raised in the vibrant city of Mumbai, he holds a master's degree in media, entertainment, and advertising from Mumbai University, showcasing his deep commitment to the media and marketing field. With over a decade of experience in integrated marketing and communications, Mr. Yassine Hamedani co-founded Media Care Brand Solutions in 2016, and his diverse background includes working with top corporations and leading brands across various industries, making him a valuable asset to today's discussion on marketing.
Moving ahead, we have the pleasure of welcoming none other than Mr. Gesar Raman, founder and CMO of Gesar Raman Agency from Egypt. Mr. Raman is not only a digital marketing expert, but also a digital transformation consultant, a business coach, and a business advisor. His agency offers comprehensive solutions for online marketing, web development, branding, and many more. Mr. Amin is particularly passionate about storytelling, customer journey, and inbound marketing, and he has successfully executed effective marketing strategies for startups, making his insights invaluable for our audience today.
Our next speaker is Mr. Mohammed Joinal Abdin, an esteemed business consultant and digital marketer, consulting currently serving as a founder and CEO of Trade and Investment Bangladesh. With a distinguished career, Mr. Abdin is recognized as one of the most popular Bangladeshi development researchers. His contributions include over 1,000 research articles and papers published internationally. Holding memberships with key organizations like IMCB and GCCI USA, Mr. Abdeen has served in various capacities at FBCCI, DCCI, and SMA Foundation and played roles ranging from Assistant Secretary to Secretary at DCCI.
Next, we have Dr. Ijan Vaidya, an assistant professor at Gujarat Arts and Commerce College, Ahmedabad. He has 8 years of teaching and research experience, specializing in rural marketing and entrepreneurship. Dr. Vaidya's recognition as a PhD supervisor teacher demonstrates his significant contributions to the field. Dr. Vaidya's expertise in rural marketing and entrepreneurship development will provide unique insights into these specialized areas, enriching our discussions.
Our next speaker is Mr. Abhyuday Pratap Singh, co founder of ClickNest Media. Beyond his role as an incoming summer intern at Ernst Young, Mr. Singh brings a wealth of experience in independent consulting and a passion for e-commerce. As the co-founder of ClickNest Media, an e-commerce consulting agency, he is dedicated to sculpting success stories. His insights into the e-commerce landscape and the challenges faced by startups will undoubtedly contribute to a fruitful discussion.
Lastly, we have Mr. Sandeep Sitoke, Head of Digital Marketing at Push Brand India Private Limited. With over 10 years of experience driving results for startups, Mr. Sitoke is a seasoned digital marketing manager. His specialization in SEO, SMO, and internet marketing, coupled with his intensive industry expertise, positions him as a valuable resource in our conversation on digital marketing strategies and their impact on business. We are honored to have such a distinguished panel of speakers today with us, each bringing a unique perspective from a unique background and obviously bringing to the table a depth of knowledge for today's conference. And we look forward to all your valuable insights. Let's start our discussion. I would like to request Mr. Yasin to commence his speech and share his invaluable insights.
Hi, good evening, all. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. This is Yasin Hamidani here. I'm the co-founder and director at Media Care. It's been an incredible journey of been spending about a decade into the marketing industry, working around with more than 150 plus clients across multiple verticals in India as well as in the UAE market. So, considering the topic which talks about the effective marketing strategies, especially when it comes to startups, from starting from the starting point to the growth and how further they want to escalate. The biggest question which arises for a lot of startups, which I have personally come across, is whether they should choose a marketing agency or whether they should build an in-house team. So that's a big question mark which always arises out in front of the new startup founders or entrepreneurs considering they are very much tight on the budget, because sometimes the companies are bootstrapped, sometimes they have certain investors who are very particular in terms of where the money is revolving around, where the investments are happening around. So of course, the entire decision between hiring a marketing agency and building an in-house team completely depends on multiple factors. And of course, it has both of its advantages and disadvantages, and of course the entire choices depends on the specific goals or the resources or circumstances the company's planning to go through. So I would just highlight, put a little summary and the limelight of what my opinion is completely based out when it comes to a marketing agency and in-house team. To start off, if I look at a marketing agency, considering I am one of the agencies in the market out there, we feel that we have certain elements in terms of the expertise and the specialization which we hold. So whether it is social media, whether it's content creation, whether it's advertisement, whether it's PR, or SEO, or performance or influencers, we have a wider range, wider connectivity, fresh perspective, fresher ideas. So that is one of the advantages what a marketing agency brings upon. Another point which I look upon is, of course, the cost saving aspect. A lot of agencies can be a cost effective, parameter. It depends that what type of agency you're working out, whether it is a boutique agency, whether it's a mid size or a very larger organization. So of course, cost varies according to the agency perspective. So of course, whether it's a small or medium, as I said, that the costing also varies a lot. Third is the flexibility aspect. A founder or an entrepreneur can of course look at scaling up or down their marketing effort quickly by working with an agency. So they there's a fluctuating need, of course, which takes place around. But of course, there's always a flexibility which can be looked upon from the agency aspect. And lastly, what I believe is one of the fresh perspective which any agency brings up, especially with agencies who have been into the market or who have worked into that particular diverse portfolio or to that sector. For example, if we have worked in an e-commerce sector, so we know that what are the strategies needs to be taken into consideration, what are the steps for a startup company to grow, and eventually reach and achieve their marketing or the business goals what they're looking out for. So the fresh perspective the agency always brings out. So I feel these are the important parameters which a CEO or a founder or an entrepreneur should consider about a marketing agency. Whereas if I come to the topic in terms of having an in-house team, there are a lot of advantages. One is, of course, you get a team which has a deep understanding of the brand. Now, with marketing agency, of course, we revolve around with multiple brands. We know what are the ifs, what are the buts, and everything for the brand itself. But with a dedicated in-house team, you have a deep understanding of the brand. So an in-house team would be more of a closer connection to the brand, to the product, to the customer, which of course allowing you more of intimate understanding of your business. Then you have an immediate communication aspect with the your in-house team, so you don't have to wait for an agency to revert back with a 24-hour or 48-hour of time duration. With immediate communication with your in-house team, it's more like on a quicker game that you ask your team that okay, you want so and so task to be done, and that's where within a time period of 2 hour and 3 hour they get it done. Why? Because they are dedicated completely to your organization. Third, I believe, is of course the control you hold over the in-house marketing team. That it's one of the best part that the in-house team is there. You can control them in terms of the brand voices, values, strategies, the kind of the work they've been doing around. And the last point, I believe, it's more of a long-term investment. This is one of the challenges where a lot of startups feel that it's a long-term investment. It's not something that crack up within a month's time. A lot of time it takes for a marketer or for an or for an individual to join a startup, understand what the brand is talking about, build over that years long of relationship by being into that in-house team. So that's one of the challenging aspect also which I would consider for an in-house team. Another challenging aspect which I see is from the costing point of view, that when you have a set of team of 3 people or 4 people working under the marketing or the popcorn department, of course you always have a thought that there would be certain period where an increment would be demanded by your team. So that is also one of the challenges. Whereas with the agency aspect, there is certain increment, but it all depends on the scope of work. It all depends on the project to project aspect as well. So I believe these are the two major advantages and disadvantages which falls into the kitty uh, for a startup, which they need to understand. And I would put out the last point over here is that if an agency, if a company, if a startup wants to make an informed decision, so they should consider 5 pointers into the overall aspect before hiring an agency or building an in-house team. One is of course the budget aspect. They need to access the budgets and the resources, whether they can afford the initial costings of hiring, training, providing all the equipment to an in-house team, or is it more cost effective to work with an agency where everything is all ready, the setup is ready, the team is ready, they have their expertise. They also need to look upon a short term and a long term goal as well. So if they feel that the marketing needs are more of a short term or a long term goal, so they need, and if they're looking out for a quicker result, an agency would be more suitable in those parameters. And if they're looking out for a long term growth in terms of, okay, that the company is going to survive for the next 10 years or 20 years or 25 years into the market, then of course they need a dedicated in-house team as well for further communications with the agency, or to develop certain internal communications as well. Third is what I look upon is on the industry and the complexity which every startup founder needs to get into it themselves. Of course, considering the complexity of your industry, like what industry they come from, what are the marketing challenges it is required, whether you are into the B2B segment, whether you are into the B2C or into the D2C or into the G2C. So all these parameters really vary, and based on those decisions, a startup should take a call whether they should hire an agency or an in-house team. Fourth, I believe, is of course the company culture and the brand you put around. So, considering that an in-house team may align more closely, with your values and culture, whereas the agency would take it more of a client and an agency kind of a relationship. And lastly, it's more on the lines of the scalability. So, it all depends on your marketing fluctuations, your relatability stage, or how you want to work around with an agency. So normally agencies normally come on a flexible aspect where the scaling can be up and down as well. So this is one of the advantages which normally startup founders need to consider. So I think overall these 5 to 6 pointers an entrepreneur should always consider before taking a formal decision whether they want to have an in-house team or an agency. But I would like to conclude this topic with the fact that that a combination of both really really works well, because your in-house agency or in-house team would be more capable to do all the further communications, do all the communications on time with the agency, ensure the execution is happening on time, ensure that the content material and everything is floating in the right direction. So and of course agency holds that experience, they have that expertise, they know the market, they study the trends. All that is something, a combination which needs to be worked out. So I believe that every startup, irrespective whether they are small, whether they're mid scale, or whether they have a high end investors who are backing them, I think it should be a mutual understanding and a mutual relationship. It's more like a marriage. I believe that an agency gets married with the marketing team, with in-house marketing team. So I think this is one of the most collaborative activity which every startup should consider. This is one of the challenges which I feel needs to be addressed on a higher time, because I'm bringing this topic considering that I have been involved around with a lot of other startups as as a consultant, though they don't want to hire us considering, okay, that there's a certain fee attached to our expertise. So this is one of the biggest questions that always arises, that why should we hire your agency? Why don't you come as a consultant, help us building an in-house team? So this is where the output goes, that I might be a consultant for the next 3 months, 6 months, or maybe for a year, but after a year, would the CEO get into the line of managing the in-house marketing team, or whether he should focus on growing his own business, focusing on building his business connectivity into the B2C, B2B, or the product development aspect. So these are the very important parameters a CEO or a consultant, or CEO or an entrepreneur should always consider. Moving to my next topic, which I want to highlight, is on what are the strategies they need to adapt. So I will be very open towards this particular aspect because it varies according to the industry where the startup is scaling into. Because many such startups, they don't need a PR backing, they don't need influencer backing, they don't need backing. But of course, digital is a medium which every startup needs it. It's like, you know, having an offline sales team. Digital marketing also is now an important department in every organization. From 2012-13 onwards, that scalability has seen. I started off my journey into the PR segment, where I saw that there was a huge demand of social media coming into the picture, where the clients were completely demanding, why are you doing only PR? Get a social media. Ask you some of your team members to start with a social media. And that's where we developed a particular department where we get started with social media, which went on to other aspect of SEO. Then post COVID, we started with performance marketing and influencer marketing and other various services around. But a lot of startups really fail to understand the importance and need of PR activities. The reason why I'm putting this out is that no matter now, everything has become more on the paid aspect, that, you know, you pay to a media house or a publication, get an article published and everything and all. That's more than enough. But your investors really know whether that coverage is an earned coverage or whether it is a paid coverage out there in the market. Getting a coverage, showcasing it to your industry colleagues and the industry people might give you those congratulations and clapping comments on your platform, but is it really attracting your investors? So that is one of the really important aspect, I believe, that a startup should also look upon, whether how PR can be one of the effective tools to market their brand, to do that brand awareness, to build that credibility of the organization into the market, which will help them to attract more investors in the future, and of course scaling their sales in on the secondary aspect. I will not say that a PR would definitely give you a sure shot sales like what digital marketing gives, or a social media or a performance marketing will give you, but PR would give you that credibility what you are looking to achieve in a long term aspect. So of course, if a startup is looking for a PR aspect, they should look at three important parameters when it comes to PR: storytelling, what they want to go around and what they want to tell to the audience, what is their communications, who are their TGs, which are the markets they want to target. So storytelling really matters in the PR aspect. Building your media relationships. Trust me, media relationships really works magic if you are in good terms of with your media houses. Tomorrow there might be a crisis situation, there might be a firefighting situation. If your agency or your in-house PR person has built that right communication with the media houses, that will really help you to safeguard your dignity, safeguard your company's value, safeguard your as a owner or as a thought leader. It will help you to safeguard your respect into the market. And third is, of course, building a thought leadership. Because if you are a thought leader, people will value you, people will value your business, people will value whatever you're doing. You could be the next trendsetter. If you look at today's example, there are a lot of beauty brands, there are a lot of companies who don't need PR. They can really jump to the social media aspect, they can jump to the performance or the influencer marketing aspect and do the game. But definitely somewhere down the line, they know that PR really helps us to attract new investors. PR really helps to share the information about their product. No matter how much on the social media you would talk about, okay, my product has this ingredient, that's that ingredient, and what are the before and after results, you might give out the best of it. But a media communication, a media house talking about your product really clicks into it. I would give a very small and a slighter example to on this aspect. One of a client, which was an international male grooming product, which they had launched in the Indian markets. The pricing was at such a high point that no Indian men would want to buy the product, considering men are more not much aligned to the beauty and beauty industry. Considering the high pricing of the product, considering that the product was placed in the luxury, or I could say in the niche segment of the market, one of the PR article which was done by Men's XP, which is it's one of the prominent online portal in India. Trust me, on the day one, for the first 8 months, the client never got a single sale on its social media or through its performance marketing. But with that one article, where it was basically a listicle which said that top 10 best shampoos for men, and the media house had rated that particular product on the rank, on the first rank. And on day one, it said, on the day the article turned up, the client was able to make an online sale of 8 lakh rupees in the Indian currency. So that is the power of PR. That people saw that, people saw the article, they were like, okay, fine, I want to buy the product. If Men's XP, which is very predominated, read by the male demographic, they wanted to experiment with the product. They wanted to know that what the product is, how Men's XP is rating an international product into the Indian market as number one. And that's where the PR did its magic. Neither social media did, neither performance marketing did, neither influencer marketing did. But PR really, really matters a lot. Second aspect I would highlight is, of course, looking at the digital marketing also, which is very important. I'm not saying that it is a wrong aspect that you should focus on PR. With PR, you should be aligned with your digital strategies as well. Because in today's world, when you're targeting the Gen Z audience, digital is the go-to-go medium. You don't, if you're not there on digital, that means you are losing 50% of your business. No matter, even if you're a B2 business, B2B, or a G2C, or in any parameter you are, digital is a must of the communication. And of course, content is the king. In any parameter of marketing, you say PR, digital, influencer, content is the king. Content really matters. How you put out your communications, how you communicate your audiences, it really, really matters. And of course, we as an agency have seen that where we have developed certain content for B2B brands, having a push and pull strategy to the B2C audience with a B2B communications. And that's where the magic turned out, that the B2B audience was also happy to buy it, the B2C audience was also happy to buy it. So digital marketing is a very, very important tool that all startups need to take, irrespective whether they have a minimal budget, whether they have a high end budget. Digital marketing is a must. And of course, in digital marketing also, they need to, of course, streamline. That social media is important, followed by your other set of segments of activity, which includes your SEO, which includes your Google advertising, and any other activities which they want to curate out. And the third part, I believe, is of course performance marketing. Of course, a lot of times brands believe that performance marketing would develop a lot of activities or a lot of sales for us. But of course, marketing have its own way of streamlining things around. So I believe in performance marketing, it's more important for the e-commerce platforms, especially who are into the D2C connect, especially who are into the aggregator segment as well. So I think performance marketing really, really plays a very important role. You need to align your budget. You need to know that what budgets are you pumping into, what is the ROI you are expecting, what is the ROI you are able to achieve. So of course, a lot of brands do give up within the 1 month or 2 month of activity. Okay, performance is not giving me the result. The biggest challenge with startup goes around is that that the patience level is very low. This is one of the challenges also as an agency which we come across, that a lot of companies come up and say within a month, okay, I don't see any magic happening, I don't see that sales are getting attractive, I don't see it's not the way it's supposed to happen. The biggest thing is that as an agency owner, you need to ensure that the company is having that patience level in order to achieve the numbers. And of course, from the from the client perspective, if you are an entrepreneur, you need to ensure to have that trust factor on the agency. I'm not saying that you directly pump into entire of your budget. If you have a budget of 5 lakh, 10 lakh on a monthly aspect, don't put out the entire budget. Experiment it, put out in bits and pieces, and see what is the evaluation you're getting, what is the ROI you are achieving. Then only, maybe the first 90 days or maybe the first 120 days would be something which you might not be able to get that sales, you might not be able to achieve that ROI. But you need to have that patience, and you need to have that trust over your agency, that okay, that if they have given a commitment, let's observe them for the next 90 days, let's observe them for the next 160 days or 6 months, and let's see where they're able to achieve us, or what they are able to give it out. That is one of the important aspects. And in performance marketing, the biggest aspect goes is analytics. tracking down your demographics, see where your audience is coming off, see who are those people, see what product they are more interested into, what are the trends they are believing into, what is the product which you need to modify or customize based on your audience requirement. So these are the parameters and strategies, which is a combination of an agency and an in-house team and the CEO, which needs to work around. And lastly, I believe influencer marketing also really plays a vital role. Because I see that a lot of influencers have grown out into the market. They are currently the content creators. They're the new gen of tool which have been driving the Gen Z aspect of influencing the new audience. Personally, I would, since I'm also one of the professors at certain colleges, and I do interact with my students who come in the age of 18 to 21, which is almost like young teenagers out there in the market. Trust me, they have a big connectivity with the online version. They have no connectivity with the offline mode. They have not visited any offline stores. Bare minimum, they would go out with their family, they would go out with their friends. But majority of their shopping takes place on the online version, whether it is platforms like Nika, whether it's platforms like Swiggy, Zomato, or Uber Eats, or whichever they believe is going to give them that ease to their shopping. That is one of the reasons I believe that influencer has been playing a very vital role, and I believe that all any startup which they feel that is relevant enough, that okay, that influencer marketing surely is going to be a game changer. I believe that they should evaluate the influencer activity in terms of identifying the influencer, the right content they're giving it out, and of course evaluating the measure based on the impressions and the views and the engagement they receive, not on the basis of the sales. A lot of clients do come up, a lot of startups have expectations. Why is this influencer not giving me sales? What is the point of doing content with this influencer if it's not giving me sales? Influencer marketing will never give you a sale kind of an activity. It's more of brand awareness, more of giving that outreach to your brand and the product itself in the market. So I think that's the two major concepts which I always wanted to cover out, and to the startups and to the entire fraternity itself.
Thank you, Mr. Yassine, for the wonderful speech and sharing your tips and strategies with us. Uh, because we're running short of time, we won't be able to take questions. So please share your email address in the chat box. And if any of our audience has any questions and seeks further information, they can reach out to you. Now, I would request Mr. Gasser Amin to commence his speech.
First, I want to thank you all for having me at this conference. And I want to say hi to our audience. What we will unveil today is something exclusive to this conference. It is an innovative framework, startup strategy navigator. But we need to clarify a very important thing before we deep dive. We did the navigator come to life? Why did the navigator come to life? The answer is many companies, entrepreneurs, and managers are lost with tons of marketing strategy out there, like the five forces, motion, Bistel, business model, Canva, and many others. They all need to know where to start and what is the best strategy that suits their needs. So our framework today represents the ever easiest way to catch a holistic view of the marketing landscape, to pick up what suits your startup's need, our vision. Every marketing strategy out there serves different aspects of the startup's needs in timely manner. What if we can take what we need from each one and cover all the startups aspects from launch to growth? Well, let me share my screen to be able to visualize my idea. Well, we are talking about four building blocks and marketing strategies used as tools to serve the main purpose, the comprehensive marketing strategy. The first building block is factors. Factors are critical component and considerations that influence a startup's strategic decision-making process. These components encompass a wide range of elements, some of them internal and other external, such as industry dynamic, market conditions, customer demands, technological trends, regulatory requirements, resource availability, and the other pertinent aspects. Factors serve as a building block for assessing relevancy and selecting the most appropriate startup phase. During the development of a tailored marketing strategy that aligns with unique needs, objectives, and the context of the startup. Let's move to the unique needs. Unique needs refer to the specific distinctive requirements, objectives, and the challenges of the startup that arise from its individual's business model, industry, market positioning, and stage of development. These needs are highly individualized and encompass factors such as resource limitation, competitive differentiation, customer expectation, and other elements that directly influence the startup's strategic decision-making process. Unique needs acts as a guiding force for determining which factors are most relevant and should be considered in the validation process, shaping a startup strategy to address its specific context and goals. The unique needs of startups are of paramount importance in the validation process, the strategy development. So, how do unique needs interact with factors in the context of strategy navigator? As we have mentioned, the unique needs of startups refer to specific requirements, objectives, and challenges that are distinctive to its business model, industry, and marketing position. The unique needs plays a central role in determining which factors are most relevant for the startup. They guide the selection of factors that will prioritized in the validation process. Factors, as Ariel mentioned, encompass various components and considerations relevant to startup strategy, including industry dynamic, marketing condition, customer demands, and more. These factors, when assessed against the backdrop of the startup's unique needs, are validated and prioritized based on their direct impact on meeting those needs. In essence, the unique needs of startups serve as a focal point for determining which factors are relevant and influential in shaping the strategy. The interaction between unique needs and factors is central to the navigator effectiveness, as it ensures that the strategy is finely tuned to address the startup's specific challenges and opportunities. This is lead us to relevance, which is the extent to which specific factors, elements, or considerations directly pertain and significantly impact the startup's unique requirements, objectives, and success in entering the market. The context of the navigator relevancy guides the selection of pertain tools and methodologies, allowing startup to develop a tailored marketing strategy that effectively address their specific needs. Relevancy serves as a critical criterion for prioritizing factors and aligning strategies with the startup mission, increasing the likelihood of achieving its goals. Lastly, startup phase refer to a specific stage in the life cycle of startup company, characterized by a set of unique challenges, objectives, and strategies. The startup phase is critical determinant for selecting and applying tools and methodologies from the navigator as it directly influences the focus and prioritize of implementation process. It typically includes distinctive stages such as pre-launch, launch, post-launch, and growth, each of which demands a tailored approach to strategy development and resource allocation to address the evolving needs and opportunities of the startup. Note that there can be intersections between relevancy and the startup phase. Throughout all startup phases, from example, compliance with legal regulation is typically relevant at every stage. The shifting relevancy is other factors may gain or lose relevance as the startup progress. Customer feedback might become increasingly relevant in the post-launch and growth phase, while less of priority in the pre-launch phase. Relevancy influence on a startup phase. The importance of specific factors can influence the choice of the startup phase. For example, if market research shows a significant growth opportunity, a startup might be prioritized entering the market on a launch phase rather than delaying a pre-launch phase. The relevancy of factors can be interdependent. A relevant factor in one area, such as technology trends, might be crucial for product development during the launch phase. Recognizing these intersections is key to effectively implementing the startup strategy navigator. It underscores the importance of conditions of continuous assessment and validation of relevant factors as the startups evolve through different phases. This is adaptability is the strength of the framework, allowing allowing every startups to make informed decision aligned with their specific needs and fees. The four building blocks of the startup strategy navigator are interconnected and can from loops or feedback cycles which with each other throughout the startup journey. Let's find out how they are moving on each other. Factors loop with unique needs. The factors identify and assess through tools like pistols, five forces, SWOT analysis can loop back to unique needs. Changes in external factors may necessitate adjustment to the startup's unique value proposition and strategy. Factors loop with relevancy. Once assessed, the factors are evaluated for their relevancy to the startup's unique needs. Changes in relevancy driven by shifts in factors may trigger the need for a strategy adjustment. Unique needs loop with factors. As unique needs evolve, they may prompt re-evaluation of external and internal factors to ensure alignment with the startup updates, goals, and value proposition. Unique needs loop with the relevancy. Unique needs drive the evaluation of relevancy. If the startup's unique needs change, the relevancy of certain factors may also change. Relevancy loop with factors. The relevancy of factors to unique needs is constantly monitored. If the relevancy of factors it changes due to market shifts, it may trigger re-evaluation of those factors. Startup phase loop with all building blocks. The startup phase influences the context and goals of the startup. It interacts with all the building blocks as the strategies developed should align with the startup's current phase. Finally, and exclusive for all attendees.
Thank you, Mr. Amin, for the wonderful speech.
And exclusive for all attendees at this conference, I will send you a free copy of my book, The Strategy Navigator, the comprehensive view of marketing strategy with a step-by-step guide for the validation and implementation process very soon. I will be happy to receive your inquiries at my social means. I will be provide you in the chat channel email. Thank you all for the attention and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amin. You can send the book on my email, and I'll make sure I'll share it with the audience. All right. Please do share your email address in the chat box, and we can and anybody would if they have any questions, they can reach out to you directly. Now I'd like to request Mr. Mohammed Joinal Abdeen to commence his speech.
Thank you very much. Actually, it's a wonderful gathering of marketing specialists from various countries. And today our topic is effective marketing strategies for startups. Actually, today the world is moving very fast. Determining effective strategy is a very important decision for any company, any startup, especially when it comes to the question of startup. Because if you are a large corporation, you have budget to hire a very qualified marketing team, market leaders, and your marketing team could be comprises of several person, and you can even television advertisement or other sort of marketing tool you can use. But while the question is for a startup, then obviously a startup is not a multi-million company. It could be within several thousand taka, 7,000 rupees company. A very small startup could be there, or it could be a company owned by one person, or two-person, or three people. So when the resource limitation is there, you are a very newcomer in the market, you are going to offer any product or service to the market, then the question will be arises, how much money do you have to offer for the market? How much money do you have for marketing budget? And what are the tools and techniques you should use to enter into your target market? So then the selection of appropriate strategy, effective strategy, fruitful strategy is questionable. So in such a parameter, previously we saw in ordinary marketing as we saw that people are using their network marketing. For example, you are connected with your friends, then friend of friends and others. So network marketing was a very useful tool for the analog marketing is. But today, as we are living in a digital marketing age, so today we have social medias, we have various digital marketing tools, and which one is the best, and how much will be the cost. So based on these questions, then our determining the effective marketing strategy would be very important for any entrepreneurs, not only startups but also for the small entrepreneurs, for the medium scale entrepreneurs. It is a very important question. Not only this, whether you are offering a service or whether you are offering a product is another very important factor for consideration. What will be the useful marketing strategy for you? Third one is, while we are moving towards e-commerce direction from physical into virtual, so how much do you have virtual presence? For example, just for a quick note, that one recent study has proven that in Bangladesh, 93% buyers, I mean, when someone would like to buy a product or to avail a service, they search into Google. They just go into a search engine and write down the name of their products. So who will be the visible in the Google's result sheet? The company who has digital presence, they have a small or a medium website. It is search engine optimization has been done very well, and it has a credibility in the market. It has access to the Google algorithm. Then they will be in the first page of the result sheet. So obviously 93% buyers, those who are searching into Google before purchasing any product or before availing any service, they will get the companies who are digitally present. So maintaining your digital presence or virtual presence is also important. So what should be your marketing strategy? Number one, if you are offering a physical product, you whether you are going through a supply chain mechanism. That means you are a manufacturer, you are recruiting your dealers or distributors, then it goes to wholesaler and retailer, then to your own end customer. It could be one chain. Second chain could be you are a manufacturer, you will give it to directly to the retailer, and retailer will sell it to the consumers. This is second channel. Or you are a manufacturer, you will directly sell it through your own outlets or through several chain shops. So what is your distribution channel? So based on your distribution channel, you have to select the appropriate marketing tool. Second thought is, for example, you are offering a very lucrative product, I mean very high price product, expensive product. So whether your customers or clients are readily available in your territory where you are going to market the product. So know your customer first. So before determining your marketing strategy, know yourself, who you are, how big your company is, what is the size of or amount of your marketing budget. Then determine your distribution channel, which channel you are going to just avail, and which channel you are going to select to market your product. Then know your customer. Who are your customer? What is their per month income, and where they do live, and what is their cultural affiliation? What type of buying habits they do have? For example, in post-COVID era, during COVID, yes, we were bound to purchase anything online, but now the situation has been normalized. But do you think our habit of purchasing online has gone up? Obviously not, because we cannot just leave away the online purchasing. So as a startup, whether you are going to offer your product or service offline, whether do you have an online presence, whether you have the network to reach towards your customer client directly, or you are using any intermediaries. So based in all these factors, you have to determine your marketing strategy. So now come to my first question. Yes, I am a startup. should I have a marketing team inbuilt in my company? As a startup, you maybe start with 3%, 5 people. So out of these 5 people, do you need a marketing specialist? What would be his salary? Whether you are capable to pay the salary for 1 month salary of a senior marketing guy. If he is not senior, then a junior marketing guy will not be able to give you the marketing strategy. So then again, the question will be arises whether I should go to a business consultant, a marketing consultant. So marketing consultancy, he may give you a fine strategy, but do you have ability to implement it? So this sort of question you have to ask yourself first when you are going to determine your marketing strategy as a start. Yes, you have a plan. You hire just one marketing specialist like Yasin Bhai. He has a marketing agency. Then he has given you a very finest marketing mix. So if you have a marketing mix, then you are going to advertise in the television channel or in a satellite channel, or your advertisement should go to a newspaper, local newspaper, or your advertisement should go as we think that digital marketing come up with so many comprehensive advantages for us. So before the digital marketing come, we used to advertise our product just to make market awareness. We used to advertise our products or services through television, through radio channel, through newspaper, through magazine, this sort of medias. So, do I know if I would like to offer my advertisement in a national newspaper, then it will cost minimum 50k to 100k Indian rupees or Bangladeshi taka. So, as a startup, am I able to pay this 100k once in a month or twice or thrice in a month? No. So then come to the point, yes, we should minimize our marketing budget. So to minimize our marketing budget, but at the same time, we have to reach out to maximum clients. So digital marketing come up, and especially the social media marketing. When the question of social media marketing came, especially Facebook boosting, YouTube promotion, or Google advertisement, this sort of marketing came up, then obviously our marketing expenditure has been reduced in many folds. For example, previously, a startup cannot think of providing any newspaper advertisement or any television advertisement as a startup. No, never. They cannot, never ever. But a startup must, he has the ability, he can spend $100, $110 per day. For the campaign will be for 10 days, that means $100. Within this $100, he can reach several lakhs, I mean up to 1 million audience in social media, in Facebook, in YouTube, or in Google or other digital media advertisement. So this is fine. But to select the appropriate digital media and to tag your appropriate client, you have to have a marketing research. Because you are a marketer, you are a manufacturer, you are going to offer your product in the market. So do you have the marketing research? Who are your competitors? In which condition you are going to launch the product or service? Do you have a healthy economy, or it is in recession, or your economy is rising, or in stagnated position? Not only economy, your particular sector, in which sector you are going to offer your market, your product or your service. So know your economy, know your sector, then know your clients, and then select appropriate marketing channel for marketing. Yasin Bhai was mentioning that you can use social media marketing. You can use other sort of marketing, for example, influencer marketing. Yes, influencer marketing could give you optimum result, but if you can select the appropriate niche. Do you know which one is your niche market? If you know your niche, if you know their social, their family background, their cultural ability, their where they are located, and then go for your digital marketing strategy. But before going for marketing, do you think your product is readily available in the shop? Or I mean, have you developed your distribution channel? Yes, you can do huge marketing. You can spend thousands of dollars in marketing purpose, but while a consumer will search for your product in his nearby retail shop, is it available? If you just have a marketing strategy, you have implemented it, you have make the awareness campaign, but your product is not available in his nearby shop, then again your marketing strategy will fail. So we need an integrated policy where we know before going for production, we know why I am going to produce this product, number one, or why I am going to offer this particular services, for whom I am going to offer this product, for whom I am going to offer this service. Then we must know in which condition we are living in, which channel should be selected. Then finally we can select the appropriate channel for us, appropriate way of doing things. Then we can penetrate the market. Finally, when my customer will go to the nearby retail shop, then he can purchase the product in his affordable price. After sales, do you have after sales planning? It is also a part of marketing, because if you don't have a satisfactory after sales service system, then while you will post something in Facebook, someone, your previous customer, maybe your previous customer, he come and make a bad comment. Yes, I purchased this one, but they are not capable to offer me appropriate after sales service. Then your marketing budget will fail. Your marketing will be worthless. So today I can sum up that yes, for the startup, digital marketing could be an option, social media marketing could be an option, email marketing could be an option, search engine optimization could be option, his physical presence, his distribution channel, as well as his virtual presence, his virtual awareness, search engine optimization. So we are living in such a era where we must have a comprehensive marketing strategy since our inception, even before inception. Then marketing strategy is a life thing. You cannot determine, yes, this is my marketing strategy and I will implement it at any cost. No, you may have to change something whenever you face any difficulty, or whenever you think I have a better option, then you have to switch. So you must have a comprehensive marketing strategy, and this strategy should be live document. It should be changed when it requires. Then obviously a marketer or a startup, obviously who will earn more and he can address the market. With this viewer, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Mr. Joynal Abdin, for your amazing speech. If you could share your email ID in the chat book, it would be a pleasure. Further moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Ijan Vaidya to commence his speech and share his insights. If you could please unmute yourself, Mr. Vaidya.
Yes, thank you so much, Strategic Alliance team, for inviting me for this session. And I think probably since we are running out of time, I would straight away jump onto the topic. And since the time which was being given to me was 15 minutes, I think I'll keep it, limited to the content of, the area of where I would like to stay focused on. So, I would like to make this session lighter in the way that I would like to share a few case studies with reference to marketing strategies for startups. So initially, I would like to begin with one of the very popular or famous case studies of Colgate, and this case study is basically somewhere around 2012-13 uh, when Mahakumbh Mela was being organized in India. And at that point of time, Colgate was having one of the stalls installed in one of the areas of Mahakumbh. So Colgate was having very lesser footfall in terms of number of people visiting that particular stall. And since they were very limited in terms of budget constraint, so they were thinking that what strategy to bring in or fetch in more consumers, or more at least customers to our stall. So basically, what they came up was that it was basically, I think, probably one of the first digital uh, marketing strategy being used by any companies in India, and they actually tied up with Airtel, and they used the location based targeting strategy. And what they did was they identified three pilgrimage sites around the Kumbh Mela, and whenever a pilgrim would enter that particular site, he would receive a call, and that call was basically a voice note recorded by a very popular artist, very popular radio artist named Amin Sayani. So his voice was being heard to the pilgrims, and that said that please visit stall number so and so on so and so ground, and please get the free samples from please collect your free samples from Colgate stall. So this, surprisingly, it sounds very simple, right? But most of the pilgrims, they were having very low literacy rates, and they were not having smartphones in those times. So those pilgrims, they were very happy to receive a phone call from a kind of a celebrity whose voice they have heard for several years. So they were very excited, and surprisingly, almost the 300 percentage of rise they got in terms of footfall. And in terms of cost effectiveness, since Yasin was focusing on cost effectiveness, Joel was also focusing on the same, and it is very, I think, important aspect for a startup, right? So Colgate was not a startup, but for the startups it is a very good message that in a budget of $8,000, Colgate managed to get footfall of almost 7 lakh people. If you actually divide the same, it is $1 for 88 people. And I think it's a great engagement rate in terms of physical marketing merged with digital. So I think in that context, it was a beginner for Indian digital space marketing. And after that, India, or the Asian economies, or we have just have no stop, or it's all go green from there, right? So and as Yasin also focused on the generation Z angle, right? India is basically the social media platforms, they are having two-third of the population, which are or two-third of the user base is Gen Z, who check at least 5 times a day platforms like Instagram or any other Snapchat or any other social media platforms, and they are almost 11 hours a day on on the they are 11 hours a day online on either of the mobile apps. So I think this is a great insight for digital marketers, or the companies or the startups who are planning to strategize for the for the young generations of any nation, right? And according to one of the report, almost 66 percentage of Gen Z users in India use social media for actual content and not just for killing time, right? So I think this is where companies need to understand the importance of having a content based strategy for marketing. Another story, another case study is of Kylie Jenner. I think she launched her entire lipstick range. In fact, she started with only three shades of lipstick, and it was all digital, right? And when she was starting, when she was thinking to go digital, the first I think she posted on Instagram and her website, and she posted a feed, a link to her website on an Instagram feed. And probably I think her website was having, at that point of time, somewhere around 2016-17, her website was having a waiting period of almost 1 lakh consumers. So she was shocked to see that, initially
Sorry
she,
to interrupt, Mr. Vedya. I guess the slides are not moving.
uh,
We can see the 18th slide.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, and
I
it's
was actually, yeah, yeah. So yes, so this Kylie Jenner story is I have picked it up from the book called No Filter from Instagram. It's a Sarah Fryer book, and it's a great book for for readers. And when she was thinking to start the entire lipsticks range on entirely on digital platform, she had a waiting time period of almost 1 lakh consumers. So she herself was shocked. She was thinking that my website has been hacked, or there is some kind of technical issue with the website. But it was all because of number of consumers, and within few seconds their entire range was sold off. So this is the power of Gen Z being on internet, and it has immense power. Right? These are just few case studies, and I'll just focus on Instagram marketing with reference to social media marketing, because Instagram is one of the most important tools, right, these days. Even Meta's major revenue these days comes from Instagram. If you would like to see this slide, right, the growth of Instagram in US itself, right, the revenue growth from Instagram is 52 percentage in 2021, whereas the growth of Facebook revenue is decreasing, if you can see, right. And even the projected, although Instagram's projected revenue is growth is in a declining trend, but still it is one of the major growth parameters for Meta. So I think it is an important tool for showcasing your brand. And there is another case study of Nikon, like and they say that when you come to Instagram, come like Nikon. When they were coming to Instagram, they had put up their they had created their page, but they had converted their page into a private page, and they were just creating a kind of buzz around the market. And when they actually launched the page, they received a shout out to from 1.3 million followers. And from few seconds itself, from few seconds of its launch, they got 12,000 followers, just because they had created a kind of a kind of buzz around, right, with their with Nikon being coming on Instagram. India, especially, it's a very important segment for any company, or whether it is multinational or whether it is Indian or any other company. If it wants to build up a brand in India, it's a very important market. 65 percentage of millennials are the active users in India, who are actually using spending 45 minutes on specific social media apps, right. So it's a and after pandemic, consumers are not constant watch out for innovative virtual ways to celebrate their bond, right. And some of the purposes for Instagram marketing I have focused in this slide. I would like to specifically focus on market research, right. Before a brand, if you want to build a brand, or if you want to build a strategy for marketing on digital platforms, you can use A/B testing. I think Marisa Mayer's example is one of the classic examples. She was in the team of Yahoo, and she actually tested 41 shades of blue, and to just to confirm, to select the color for Yahoo logo, right. And she actually tested 41 shades, right. And when she actually launched the website, just because of that particular shade of purplish blue which they had chosen, Yahoo's revenue got boosted by almost 200 millions. So I think market research is very, very important, right? And I think Yasin also said that market research is one of the most important thing which a marketing company or even a startup should consider before entering. One of the examples I would like to quote from Ahmedabad itself, a very popular brand which runs advertisements in India on Indian commercials, Indian television. You can see those ads. Fog deodorant, right? It's a very successful. It was launched in 2011, and just within 3 to 4 years, it earned the status one, or it just jumped on to one, and it almost converted X into a it just took away the position from X. Right? The strategy they used was a blue ocean strategy, right? So rest of the deodorants those time, they were all targeting the sensual or emotional angle of the product, but they just stuck to the functional benefit angle, and they just were very clear in their idea. They were just focusing on 800 sprays in 100-gram bottle, right? So and since the company was from a Guju person, and in Gujarati, there is a very famous icebreaker in Gujarati meetups, which we call it "Su chale che," right? Which means that "Kya chal raha hai," right? What's going on? So just from that, he just picked up that famous icebreaker, and just he built up the entire brand around that particular line. And today everybody knows that it's a history. So that is a blue ocean strategy, right? Just deviating the consumer's attention from the red ocean, which is being which is a kind of where there is almost a war like situation, where so many brands are focusing on just one angle, right? They just change deviated the angle to the blue ocean, and today the rest is history, right? So I think it is very important. Why differentiating is important? That means why blue ocean is important, because 25 billion business accounts are listed on Instagram, right? And if you want to differentiate your own brand from this 25 billion, right, you have to be different, right? There are brand generated content, influencer generated content, and user generated content on these platforms. I would not considering the time constraint, I would not go into the details of the same. But I would just like to end my words with this last case of influencer generated content. Everybody is talking about influencer marketing, but I think what type of influencer marketing? Because when we talk in the terms of startups, I think cash crunch or monetary constraint is one of the biggest constraint, right? So they are not having budgets of lakhs of rupees or crores of rupees to spend. So at that point of time, I think when we talk about influencer marketing, the micro influencer marketing is very important. Now micro influencer is one who has a following from 1000 to probably 10,000 or 1 lakh, right? So they are not having huge fan followings or followings on the social media accounts. They are having a limited following from 1000 to 1 lakh. Now these people, right, they would not charge much, right? And there are platforms like Chorus, Opa Marketing. There are many platforms, right, which have a community of micro influencers listed on them. So we can these startups can take help of such communities, and they can market their products using them. The best example is when Sugar Cosmetics use this particular strategy for brand awareness. They spend almost 11 lakh, and that is actually MRP of the product, right? If you talk in terms of costing, cosmetic industry has almost an average of 40% margin. So that would be ranging around 6 lakh rupees of cost, right? So with 6 lakhs, 6 to 7 lakh rupees of investment, they garnered 1.3 crore impressions, 4 lakh engagement from metros and tier 1 2 cities. Imagine just investing 11 lakh of rupees and getting 1.3 crore impressions, 4 lakh of engagement. That is, I think, apna India wala soda, right? And last, I how to make a uh, I think another example I would just like to end with last example. Cocosol, they sent products worth 30 lakhs of rupees to 3,000 micro influencers, with the objective of brand awareness, and the result that they generated was amazing. 3.5 crore impressions and astounding 21 lakh total engagement. I have compared it with a Times of India advertisement in cities of Gujarat like Surat and Ahmedabad. It would cost on a decent day it would cost somewhere around 12 lakh in Ahmedabad and around 3 to 4 lakhs in Surat, right? So if you talk about Ahmedabad and Surat, right, I don't think the readership would be somewhere around 30,000 circulation, right? So for 30,000 the companies are paying almost 15 16 lakh of rupees compared to what a micro influencer can generate from digital marketing, right? Or I have named over here Virat Kohli. I don't know what exactly he would be charging, but this is just an example taken from media reports. So I do not vouchsafe the same. I do not guarantee the same, but according to one of the media reports, he charges almost 5 crores for a single post, and that generates 10 to 12 lakh of engagement. Now you can check 30 lakhs for 21 lakh engagement and 5 crores for 10 to 12 lakh engagement. You yourself, for a startup, I think this is a very important thing, right? So that's it from my end, friends. I had I wanted to share a few more examples, but I know I can in 15 minutes of time. uh, you know uh, that's
No
it.
issues, Dr. Vaidya. That was actually an amazing speech. I would like to request you to share your email ID in the chat box so that if
uh,
any of our attendees have queries, they can simply reach out to you.
thank you.
Have a great day. Next, moving ahead, I would like to invite Mr. Abhijit Pratap Singh to share his insights.
Uh, Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Am I hello? Am I audible? Uh, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for that confirmation. Before I begin, I would like to share my screen. Just a second. I hope my screen is visible. Is it visible? If anybody can confirm it, I guess it's visible. Um, So before I begin with anything, I would like to tell why should you listen to me, okay? This is basically my website. Like it was mentioned, okay, before we start with anything, if you would have seen the loading screen, it says that marketing is attracting, it's not interrupting, right? So when we talk about marketing, the thing, I heard a lot of speakers who were talking about how do you scale your business and what is marketing, and there are different kind of marketings. I'll go into the depth of one of them, which is the omni-channel marketing, which I think is the only strategy which actually works. Um, but before we begin with anything, it's very important that why do we marketing, okay? I have worked with a lot of startups in my background. If you would have known about MBA Chaiwala, I was a very core member of it. I worked with the same of the company. We made brilliant strategies to connect with people. We had more than, I guess, when I was there for a couple of months, we opened more than 50 franchisee for the startup. I have worked for a lot of marketing agencies. One of them is Sure About Sure, where I think that is the foundation which has built me. I have worked with clients like Policy Bazaar, Shapurji, Palonji. I have worked with Varanasi Smart City, Country Chicken, a lot of clients. It's a very long list of it. So when what I have observed in my limited experience, I still am learning, and I started my own agency, which is called Clickness Media, which you can see on the screen as it has also been mentioned in my opening dialogue. Um, that was the only screenshot I wanted to do. I'll share my email ID and everything. So the first thing which I want to talk about is how. So when I was at Sure About Sure, we came up with a very new concept. So the previous speaker to me was just mentioning how Virat Kohli takes 5 crores of it, and because of paucity of time, he could not give a lot more examples. I want to give an example. About 16 months ago, Cred wanted to do an advertisement, right? and they wanted to hire cricketers to do it because they are very vivid with, you might have seen Rahul Dravid's brilliant ad which Craig did. So they approached Virat Kohli, and he asked for a huge amount of sum. It's still not public. What Kunal Shah went with, Kunal Shah is a brilliant guy. You should definitely follow him on LinkedIn. He's founder of Cred. What he did, the amount which took him to hire Virat Kohli to do the ad, in the same amount, he hired all other 10 people of the current Indian team. Right? So instead of having one person do the advertisement, now he had whole Indian cricket team were advertising for him. Right? And that is when I think that the impact which you are creating from marketing should be something which has a huge ROI, right? You cannot invest billions and get in return a very less amount. And a classic example of it is Red Bull. Everybody might have heard about Red Bull. When Red Bull initially started, they did not have market. There was no concept of packaged canned energy drinks, which are very expensive. And you wouldn't believe what Red Bull came up with. So it was very initial years, right? They weren't a unicorn. They weren't earning money. So the city from where they started in the US, what they did was they took a lot of empty cans of Red Bull. Okay, they crushed it, but they crushed it in a way that the Red Bull label was still visible, and they threw it in the entire city, right? So every street you walk, you would see some empty cans of Red Bull there lining aside, which is kept as a marketing campaign by the company itself. Nobody drank it. Now the buzz was in the whole city was that how the hell, what the hell is this drink, right? Why is everybody drinking it? And people started to buy it, right? The investment which it took was just empty cans, which would be like what, I don't know, maybe a couple of thousand rupees, right? But the impact which it created was very huge. So when we talk about marketing, the first thing which we are talking about startups, right? We are not talking about established business. So the first thing which you should do when you're marketing is that you should yourself firsthand experience the product which you are trying to market. Okay, people say that the attention span of the youth is decreasing, which is true. We used to have an attention span of 12 seconds in 2020. In 2023, it's down to 8.25 seconds, right? Nobody pays a lot of heed on a lot of content. But I'll tell you something very realistically. If anybody finds something, delivers them value, they will spend hours on it. Okay, it doesn't matter how short their attention span is. If you're creating value for the customers, that is the only way they are going to pay heed to your marketing strategy. You can spend billions on things and it wouldn't work out in any way, right? And you can do something as simple as, I don't know, there's been for example, fog, right? Fog said ki आपके यहाँ क्या चल रहा है, and fog चल रहा है. It's a very common thing, but it blew up, right? So when you're doing marketing, the first thing which you should think about is that what is the value you are creating for your customers, right? If there is no value which you are trying to deliver, then your marketing campaign, your product is of no use. Secondly, this thing I have learned from Google itself. So what Google basically does is that they do not develop a product and then they try to market it. Okay. So earlier a speaker mentioned how important is a market research. So when you do a markets research, you know that where are the gaps, right? What are the things which the customers are expecting, but nobody's being able to deliver it, right? So when you find there is a gap in the market and then you create a product which is already demanded by the people and then you are marketing it, then it works, right? So instead of creating any blunt marketing campaigns and blunt product, you should try to create value for your customers. That's the golden ticket to making any kind of startup, making any kind of product. It's very difficult to make anything out of the blue and then you try to make people accompanied with it, right? Moving on, when we talk about marketing, and yes, a very important thing I would like to mention. So I was working in one of the marketing agencies called Sure About Sure, which I've already mentioned before. So while I was working there, we came up to a very nice realization that when we talk about people who are extensively marketing in on digital platform, for example, there's Instagram, there is YouTube. One thing which came up was the influencer marketing domain. So influencer marketing, that is still a very undeveloped sector, I would say. There is no structured form of doing it. There are not very established ways to find and connect with people and everything. Like it has also been mentioned about my previous speaker that any post done by a celebrity having millions of followers gets you reach to millions of people, right? So what we figured out sure about sure was that there are certain companies who work on a very niche product, right? Or they're working in a particular locality. So any influencer for say, there is a company, it's called Balaji Wafers, if you would have heard it. Right now, Balaji Wafers is eating the sales of Lays in Gujarat and Maharashtra. Lays is so worried with them, they are continuously scraping the sales. So, if for example Balaji has to do advertisement, what they do is they try to get local influencers, right? The people who are well established in Maharashtra and Gujarat, because running an ad for Balaji in Uttar Pradesh is very stupid, right? You wouldn't get a turnout which you expect. So one thing which came up was dialect-based influencer marketing, right? So the whole idea behind it was, and we have executed it to a certain extent, is that we used to connect to a lot of people who work in a specific dialect, right? So I'm from northern part of the country. There is a very popular dialect spoken here. It's called Bhojpuri, right? And you'll be very amazed to know that Bhojpuri is the largest spoken dialect in the world. And you go to Maharashtra, people are speaking Marathi. You go to Gujarat, people are speaking Gujarati. So when there is someone who is speaking to you in your local tone, the impact which it creates, it's very large, right? So when you are marketing your product, the first thing which you should think is what value is your product delivering, and second thing is the channel through which you want to market. Lamborghini never gives an ad on television, right? The reason being their customers do not sit on the television, right? You want advertisement of a toffee, it wouldn't come in the Financial Times, right? Because their customers are not seeing Financial Times, their customers are the kids. So the channel which you are picking to spread your product, it has to be something which aligns with your target audience. So then we come to the ICP. ICP is ideal customer profile. So ICP is the set of people to whom you want to cater. So the first thing which you have to do is that you need to have a very focused approach to market your product. You shouldn't spend a lot of money in catering to a wide variety of people in which 60% are not even your target customers, right? There is no point in showing advertisement of for example, ice cream to diabetic patients, right? They wouldn't buy it. There is no purpose of showing advertisement of a pen to someone who is into sports, right? So you need to find your target audience, and then you should choose appropriate channel through which you want to target them. That is the most effective way through which you will be saving your dollars as well as reaching to the lot of customers, right? So then we come to a concept, it's called omni-channel marketing. So when you talk about omni-channel marketing, what essentially you are doing is that instead of depending on one particular channel to market your product, you are trying to develop a lot of channels, right? So if there are people who are old age, the conversion of them through Facebook group is very high, right? And if you're talking about someone from my age, the conversion of them through clicking on an advertisement which pops up in between reels on Instagram is more probable, right? So there will two people who will come to your website. The first will be someone who is aged at 40, 45 years through a Facebook group, and the second will be someone who is aged at 18 or 20 from an Instagram ad, right? So if you are just using one channel of marketing per se, Instagram, you would leave a lot of huge customers which are on different platforms, right? Because you cannot find all your customers on the same channel. So omni-channel marketing is something which I feel is very important for you to target for, right? And like I mentioned, that just a second. I think there's an yeah. So, and a classic example of this is, for example, a fisherman. So, a fisherman who is just using a fishing rod can catch one fish at a time, but a fisherman who's using a huge net can get a couple of fishes in least amount of time, right? So, when you're doing omni-channel marketing, you're targeting a lot of people, right? So, your chances of catching fish increases dramatically, if I was to say, right? Moving on, like I said, that why omnichannel marketing is important. Let's take a trip down to memory lane, and Google changed its interface in 2016. So anybody who used to search anything on Google in 2016 used to get an ad on the right side of the thing, right? So when they stopped doing it, it was a seismic shift that sent shockwaves through the digital marketing world. So the change was very subtle, yet it was very significant, right? And Google removed the right side ads, and suddenly the top 4 ad spot became the hottest real estate on the internet. And now everybody was running towards it. So anybody who was primarily focused on those ad blocks was done. You're done. Your marketing has turned to zero. Another example is TikTok. I just saw that I think a month back TikTok was banned in one of the Middle Eastern countries, and there they had it was in Vietnam to be very exact. Vietnam has the second largest market for TikTok to sell their products. So they were making billions of dollars by selling product, and the next day government says that TikTok is banned, and it all goes to ban. Anybody who was using just TikTok as a marketing channel was done, right? So having an omni-channel marketing also gives you a safety net, because since you're getting your customers from a lot of interfaces, it's very easily for you to get them, right? And the third thing about digital marketing is remarketing. So remarketing in the digital marketing is like a boomerang, right? You throw it out and it comes back and bringing potential customers with it. So it's a strategy that allows you to stay connected with users who have previously interacted with the website or the mobile app. And here I want to mention the customer lifetime value, the CLV, which we talk about. It's very important that you think about it, that the value which you're giving to the customer, is it ample? Is the customer coming back? A classic example is Apple. Somebody who gets into an Apple ecosystem will get on to buy an iPad after an iPhone, and then they'll switch their laptop to a MacBook, and then they'll buy an AirPods, right? So the value which the company is providing is huge, right? And the customer acquisition cost is very less. All you have to do is sell just one Apple product. You sell one Apple product, and then the customer becomes so loyal because they think that the value which they are getting by the products which they are buying is really great. And then comes the most effective marketing strategy, which is the word of mouth. No matter any advertisement you think about, word of mouth has always been and will always be the most efficient and effective marketing strategy, because when people are vouching for you, when people are trying to back you up, when people are advocating for you when you are not there, that is when you think that yes, your product has added some value to the customer, right? So thinking about the product quality, thinking about the omni-channel marketing only on a particular niche, your target audience, and not wasting your dollars and your time or anything else which doesn't create impact. Choosing omni-channel marketing, like I said, the value which you give, the customer acquisition cost, you have to keep in mind that are you getting repeated customers, right? So I speak at a lot of event and a lot of trainings, and I also build a lot of resumes for youngsters like me. So whenever I get a second call from someone, that is when I know that yes, I've delivered a value, right? Because there is no other way for me to get that, because I don't charge anything for it, because I think that education and opportunity should be free to people. So the only way through which I know is when I get a round clock call, right? So you also need to think of a customer metric, right? A conversion metric, that on what metric are you thinking that yes, I have delivered a value and the value is this much, and yes, I've done a good work, right? So getting a good metric to quantify your marketing strategy is very important. You should think that how are you going to value, how are you going to measure the impact which you have created. So yeah, I think that is all I can cover in 15 minutes. So you should think about your product, the marketing strategy, not wasting your dollars, the value which you're giving to the customers, the repeated customers, and the metrics. These are the top 6 things which I think is very important for you to evaluate the marketing strategy which you're using, and never focus on anything which is very common, right? Don't just start running ads on Meta and start paying huge sums to influencers to do your product reviews, and it looks very copied, right? It straight away gives an impression that somebody's getting paid to give a wrong review about something, right? Either you do something very substantial and use something like a surrogate marketing. I think everybody has seen Hera Fairy, right? There is a scene where he opens up Domino's Pizza and he says ki pizza khaiye. It's a subtle marketing, right? You wouldn't think ki Domino's Pizza ka prachar kar raha hai, but he is doing it. Domino's paid to do it, right? So whenever you're doing a marketing, take example of Zomato, take example of Cred, find some kind of value which you're giving to the people, right? Don't go with the cohort and start paying billions of dollars pouring in the vein, right? So that is all I have to say. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here, and have a great day, and really nice to hear the other speakers too.
Thank you, Mr. Abhyuday. It was an amazing speech, and as you know already, I would like to share. I would like to request you to share your email address in the chat box so that everybody can connect with you in case they have any doubts. Um, so, as we are now, we are going to conclude the session, and thank you everyone for joining us, and hope that everybody gained some knowledge and some insights from this conference. Looking ahead, we're excited to announce that our next conference will be held in December on the topic how to advertise effectively on a tight budget as an entrepreneur. So we hope to see you all there and engage in insightful discussions again. Thank you again, and we look forward to reconnecting with you all again. Do subscribe to YouTube channel and follow us on social media channels. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. See you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I thank you for this session. Thank you very much. I'm a final year student at the University of Nigeria, and I feel this is a very, very innovative opportunity, and it's very insightful. And I want to thank all the speakers for expatiating on this subject matter. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. I hope we get connected someday.
Audible, Shrishti?
Hello?
Yeah. Am I audible, Shrishti?
Yes.
Sure. I would like to request that and
Sorry, your voice is not audible. Like there is some disturbance.